The scrapyard stretched for miles, a broken landscape of twisted metal, shattered starships, and abandoned machines. Rust ate at everything it touched, and jagged edges of alien technology protruded like the bones of dead giants. The wind carried a metallic scent and the distant echoes of collapsing scrap. Among the ruins, a small figure lay unmoving. She was no larger than a human teenager, with delicate features marred by dirt and scratches. Her skin was a soft pale blue, and her hair shimmered with a faint silver light. Her eyes, bright purple and wide with fear, scanned the scrapyard as if searching for something that would never come. Lyra had been left here by her own family. Once respected in her society for her intelligence, she was now considered a burden because she could not walk. Her body refused her, and her legs would not move no matter how hard she tried. Her family, powerful figures in their alien world, had abandoned her, leaving her among the wrecks as though she were already dead. They had told themselves it was mercy, that survival was not meant for the weak. But Lyra was neither weak nor ready to die. Her small hands trembled as she pressed against the cold metal beneath her. She tried to move, to crawl, to drag herself toward some imagined safety, but the scrapyard offered no comfort. The machines were silent, the starships were broken, and the wind only whispered of loneliness. Every day she whispered her pleas, hoping someone would hear, though she knew no one from her world would come. It was in this silence that the sound of movement startled her. Footsteps, slow, cautious, deliberate code across the metal plains. Lyra froze. Humans were rare on this planet. Most were explorers, scavengers, or curious scientists, but few lingered long enough to help anyone. Many of them feared alien societies and carried weapons. She had learned to hide from strangers, knowing that some humans might take advantage of her vulnerability. Jack appeared from behind a pile of twisted metal, a human man in simple scavenger attire. His eyes scanned the scrapyard carefully, reflecting a mix of curiosity and caution. He was here to find rare alien tech, not to rescue a paralyzed girl. But as he walked closer, he noticed her a tiny figure trapped beneath a bent metal beam. At first, he thought she was a machine, a lifeless automaton left among the wrecks. But then he saw the fear in her eyes, the faint quiver of her lips, as she whispered something too soft to understand. Jack approached slowly, kneeling a safe distance away. "Hey," he said, his voice calm and steady. "I'm not going to hurt you." He did not move too quickly, aware that sudden gestures could frighten her. Lyra's eyes widened even more. Her instincts screamed that humans were dangerous, that she must protect herself. But something in Jack's posture, the gentleness in his tone, made her hesitate. She tried to speak, to warn him to stay away, but the words came out as barely audible sounds. Jack leaned closer, tilting his head, studying her carefully. "I can help you," he said softly. "I can get you out from under that metal. Can you trust me?" Her body wanted to resist, to stay hidden, but her mind told her there was no one else. Slowly she nodded, just enough for him to see. Jack smiled faintly and knelt beside the bent beam. Using a combination of strength and careful leverage, he lifted the heavy metal just enough for Lyra to move her upper body. She tried to crawl out, but her legs did not respond. Jack quickly grabbed a nearby piece of scrap and fashioned a crude stretcher. "Hold still," he instructed. With careful hands, he lifted her onto it. Lyra's heart pounded, not just from fear but from disbelief. Someone, a human no less, had come to save her, as he carried her toward his ship. She whispered fragments of her story, broken and uneven. She gestured at her legs, at the scrapyard, at herself. Jack listened patiently, piecing together the tale. She had been abandoned, left to die because her family saw her as a burden. The cruelty of her people was shocking, but her resilience shone through. She had survived days alone, navigating the wrecks with her hands, avoiding dangers that could easily have killed her. Jack felt a deep respect for her courage. Humans prided themselves on ingenuity and bravery, but Lyra's spirit reminded him that strength came in many forms. Her body may have been weak, but her mind and heart were unbroken. He set her gently in the ship's medical area. Though he was not a doctor, Jack had scavenged and studied enough alien tech to understand some medical basics. He began checking her body for injuries, treating scratches and infections, and gently testing her legs. Lyra flinched at first, fearing pain, but found only care. "You'll be okay," Jack said firmly. "I'll figure out how to help you walk again." Ada wanted to believe him. She wanted to hope, but years of neglect and abandonment made it difficult. Still, there was something in Jack's steady presence, and the way he did not judge her or treat her like a burden that made her trust grow. Days passed aboard the ship. Jack scoured the nearby planets for advanced technology that could assist her mobility. Lyra watched him work, fascinated by human innovation. She shared her own knowledge of alien engineering, explaining concepts Jack had never imagined. Together, they adapted devices, tested prototypes, and slowly, cautiously, her body responded. Even small movements, twitches of toes, shifts of hips, felt like victories. But danger loomed. Unbeknownst to them, Lyra's family had already discovered her survival. Their pride could not tolerate a daughter who defied their judgment. They dispatched hunters, elite warriors skilled in tracking across worlds. Their orders were clear: return Lyra, dead or alive, and punish any humans who interfered. Jack detected subtle signals in the scrap communication network traces of alien ships. Scanning the area, he realized their safety was limited, and the chase had begun. He explained the situation to Lyra, whose fear mixed with a surge of determination. She would not be taken back to a family that rejected her. She would fight in whatever way she could. Their journey through the stars was tense. Jack used every trick a human mind could devise to evade detection: stealth maneuvers, false signals, unpredictable routes. Lyra contributed too, using her knowledge of alien technology to help them hide and deceive their pursuers. Each day, their trust in each other grew. Jack admired her intelligence and spirit. Lyra admired his courage and ingenuity. Despite the looming threat, they shared moments of laughter and learning. Jack taught her human games and simple humor. Lyra showed him alien puzzles and engineering marvels. In these small exchanges, they found a sense of family and belonging neither had known before. One night, as the ship floated above a purple gas giant, Lyra spoke softly, almost to herself. "I thought I would die alone," she said. "I did not know anyone could care." Jack smiled, placing a hand gently on hers. "Humans can be unexpected," he said, "and sometimes we do what we must to protect those who cannot protect themselves." Lyra looked at him, her eyes reflecting stars beyond the viewport. For the first time since her abandonment, she felt hope. Not just for survival, but for a future where she was valued for who she was. It's not just what she could do. As Part 1 closes, their ship moves through the vastness of space, Lyra safely in Jack's care. Behind them, sensors of the alien hunters light up, signaling that the pursuit is imminent. A storm is gathering on the horizon of stars, a test of human ingenuity and alien courage. Lyra's journey has only begun, but she will not face it alone. Together, they will challenge the assumptions of alien pride, the limits of human resourcefulness, and the bonds that form when kindness meets courage. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a silent ocean of light and darkness. Jack guided the ship through asteroid fields and swirling gas clouds, each turn calculated to avoid detection. Lyra sat strapped to a reinforced chair in the medical area. Her body still fragile, but responding slowly to the experimental treatments Jack had rigged. Every small twitch of her legs or hands brought a sense of triumph. She was alive, she was learning, and for the first time, she was not alone. Despite the calm exterior, danger loomed. Sensors aboard the ship picked up faint signal traces of alien ships moving in formation, scanning the surrounding systems. Lyra's family had sent hunters, elite warriors trained to track and capture even the cleverest prey. They did not expect Jack to challenge them, but humans were unpredictable, and unpredictability was an advantage. Jack worked tirelessly, modifying the ship to improve stealth and speed. He created false signals and deployed decoys, leaving the hunters chasing shadows. Lyra watched and learned, absorbing every detail. She realized that humans were more inventive than her people had believed. They relied not just on raw power, but on imagination, daring, and resilience. One evening, as the ship drifted through the shadow of a dying star, Lyra finally managed to move her right leg. It was a small movement, barely noticeable, but she gasped at the sensation. Jack, who had been recalibrating a navigation array, turned to see the twitch. "You did that," he said softly, a smile spreading across his face. "You moved it." Lyra's eyes sparkled with a mix of disbelief and joy. "I can feel it," she whispered, almost in awe of her own body. Jack reached out and held her hand. "You're stronger than anyone ever told you," he said, "and we'll keep going until you can walk again." The next weeks were filled with a rhythm of work and recovery. Jack pushed the boundaries of human ingenuity, combining alien tech he scavenged with his own engineering skills. Lyra, in turn, offered insights into alien mechanics, helping him improve the devices. Together, they created a system of braces and neural stimulators that allowed her to support her own weight with assistance. Each day was a battle, each small success a victory against the neglect she had suffered, but the hunters were closing in. Jack noticed patterns in their approach, predictable scans, formations, and timing. Using human intuition and experience from countless space chases, he devised a counter-strategy. He taught Lyra to anticipate moves, to understand the sensors, and to manipulate the environment. She was learning the human way of thinking, a combination of courage, creativity, and instinct. When the hunters finally arrived in the system, they were confident of victory. Their ships glimmered in the darkness, advanced and imposing. Lyra's family had expected the human to flee or surrender. They did not account for the bond that had formed between the human and the alien girl, nor for the ingenuity of a species willing to risk everything to protect one life. The first encounter was tense. Jack piloted the ship through a dense asteroid field, using the rocks as cover. The hunters followed, their sensors scanning, their weapons ready. Lyra, strapped into her seat, guided him using her knowledge of alien technology. She identified weak points in the enemy ship's shields, suggested maneuvers based on gravitational anomalies, and predicted their tactics with uncanny precision. Jack smiled in admiration. "You've got a sharper mind than most humans I know," he said. "We make a good team." Lyra nodded, a small smile on her face. "I am learning from you too," she admitted. The hunters fired beams of energy slicing through space. Jack twisted the ship, narrowly avoiding destruction, while Lyra directed countermeasures. They set traps, turning asteroids into obstacles that disabled the pursuers' engines without harming the pilots. With each move, the human-alien duo proved that courage, intelligence, and trust could outmatch raw power. After the battle, they landed on a small, deserted planet to rest. Lyra's legs were sore but stronger. She could now support herself with the braces, and even take small steps with Jack's guidance. She laughed when she managed to take her first few steps alone, her laughter echoing across the barren landscape. It was the first time she had truly felt freedom in years, and Jack felt a surge of pride. "You're doing it," he said, letting her walk a few meters. "Look at you. You're moving on your own." Lyra's smile was radiant. "I never thought I could again." As they continued their journey, they shared stories of their worlds. Jack spoke of Earth, of its oceans, forests, and cities. Lyra spoke of her home planet, of towering spires, floating gardens, and complex machines that mirrored life itself. They found common ground in their curiosity, resilience, and the quiet hope that life could be better than cruelty or neglect. But the hunters would not give up. Lyra's family, embarrassed and furious, sent more ships. They underestimated the duo's determination. Jack and Lyra devised a bold plan. Instead of running, they would turn the tables. Using Lyra's knowledge of alien technology, they modified the ship's systems to create holographic duplicates of themselves, confusing the hunters and leading them into a carefully prepared trap. When the hunters arrive, they found the human and the alien girl seemingly everywhere at once. Their attacks were futile. Each ship that pursued a duplicate was destroyed or disabled. Lyra guided Jack with precision, her mind sharp and focused despite the stress. It was a perfect combination of human ingenuity and alien intellect. Finally, the hunters' main ship arrived, carrying Lyra's family. They expected to see their daughter captured and weak. Instead, they saw her standing, supported by Jack, confident and defiant. Lyra's purple eyes met theirs, and in that gaze was a message they could not ignore. She was alive, she was strong, and she belonged to no one who would abandon her. "You left me," she said, her voice steady. "You thought I was nothing, but I survived, and I will not go back." Her family faltered, unsure how to respond. The shame of their neglect was evident, but so was their anger. Jack stepped forward, placing himself between Lyra and her family. "She's not yours to control anymore," he said firmly. "You lost that right the moment you left her here." For a tense moment, silence fell. Then the family's commander, a stern figure with glowing markings along his arms, nodded slowly. "She has proven herself," he said, a trace of respect in his voice. "And the human. He has shown courage and skill beyond expectation." Lyra did not speak. She simply stood tall, feeling the strength in her legs, power in her mind, and the bond with the human who had saved her. Jack reached for her hand, and together they left the system. Her family watched as their daughter departed, alive and independent, a testament to resilience and the unexpected greatness of humans. In the quiet of space, Lyra finally allowed herself to breathe. She had been abandoned, left to die, and yet here she was walking with support, learning, growing, and free. Jack guided the ship toward new worlds, new possibilities, and new adventures. They would face challenges ahead, but they would face them together. Lyra turned to Jack, her voice soft but filled with determination. "I want to see the stars. All of them. And I want to learn everything I can." Jack smiled. "Then we will. Together." As the ship accelerated into the infinite stretch of the galaxy, Lyra felt hope bloom within her. She had been abandoned, underestimated, and left for dead. But now, with a human by her side, she understood that survival was only the beginning. Courage, ingenuity, and trust could change everything. And in that realization, she found not just safety, but purpose, strength, and the unshakable truth that humans unexpected, inventive, and brave were capable of greatness beyond measure. The hunters would learn. Her family would reflect, and the galaxy would witness what could happen when compassion, courage, and intelligence combined. Lyra's journey was just beginning, but one thing was certain: she would never be abandoned again.